That movie was so dark, I had to turn the contrast on my thing up all the way. So dark!
Dan, that was going to be one of the first things I said. I
Oh.
think I only saw 40 to 45% of the movie.
What the heck is that?
Pretty sure.
I was just looking at my thing and I was like, how do I turn the contrast up?
How do I adjust my computer to see a movie? That you're already losing a battle right there. That's terrible. Hey, watch it! With Dan and Tony! Hey, watch it! With Dan and Tony! It's like watching, yeah!
Welcome to Hate Watching with Dan and Tony. I am Dan.
I am Tony.
And we're in the thick of the Halloween season. We're actually running out of Halloween season because we started Halloween season a week late.
Are you bringing it up? You've brought it up twice now, Dan. It's enough. We get it. I can't do math. It's hard. But we're going to do one extra week. We're going to do a special November episode of Halloween.
Oh, really? That I have to decide what it is?
I mean, you don't. If you don't want to, you don't have to. I just feel bad that I've basically stolen one of your movies, so I feel bad about it.
I haven't really stolen my.
I mean, an opportunity. I stole an opportunity from you to choose a wonderful film of the horror genre.
But didn't I do Ghost Rider and then this movie?
Yeah, that's true. You did one early. That's right. So actually, this is all your fault. You threw off the whole count.
Is that what happened?
Because Ghost Rider was the week before October. And then the first week of October, I messed up and didn't pick a horror movie. And now we've done a couple since then. It's all messed up. Well, it's a bad year.
We need to edit the old episodes and so make it so Ghost Rider we say came out in October. That's all we need.
Nobody will ever know.
So we're trying to find bad horror movies, and we're succeeding.
Of course, we're succeeding. There's lots of those.
The movie this week I got to pick, and I picked Slender Man.
An important emphasis on the space there.
Now, from I believe 2018 or 19, because there was also one in 2018, which was like looking for Slender Man, which don't think had the space between and man.
Yeah, from what I can tell, it's generally accepted to spell it either way.
Oh, really? Okay. Interesting.
Because much like all of the mythos around Slender Man, did you do any research, by the way?
I did not do my research.
It's gobbledygook. It is all, there are no rules. It's just like whoever wants it to do whatever they want, it just happens. It's the worst. I don't want to speak ill of anyone, okay?
Okay.
But the people that fell for this 10, 20 years ago, whatever, dumbest people I've ever seen in my life. This is the least convincing boogeyman type figure I've ever heard of, because there's no concrete, what does he do? I don't know what he does. How can you be afraid of something you don't know what he does? Like, who cares?
I mean, those two girls killed their little sister or something.
Did they kill her or did they attempt to kill her? I can't remember if.
Hopefully,
I hope she lived
to kill her.
Yeah,
Let's just leave it there.
I think, I'm going to go with that. If maybe I'm living in a dream world, but that's where I'm going to stay.
Yeah, well, I mean, isn't that the nature of the creepypasta? It's built on, from the collective imaginations of a bunch of, 12-year-old girls, and so you don't get anything real.
It's dumb. Yeah, it's dumb. I hate it. And I had never really dug into this creepypasta until you told me. I didn't even know the term until last week when you told it to me, because that's how stupid I am. But it seems dumb. It's just a terrible, why? The creepier thing is like I have to know what it is. I need to know what to be afraid of. I can't just be afraid of a random thing that maybe doesn't have a face. Sometimes he has a face. He's pretty skinny. Sometimes he wears a suit. Sometimes he has hats, and sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he has octopus. I'm telling you, go to the wiki on this thing. It is all over the board.
And the good thing about this movie is the filmmakers didn't make a choice.
They're like, we'll just try everything depending on what point of the movie we're at.
I was thinking about horror movies, right?
Yeah, as you should.
I was going to say this to you, and you're going to be aghast.
Okay.
Don't think I've ever seen Friday the 13th. Don't think I've ever seen Halloween. Don't think I've ever seen
No. Hold on. Don't pass by Halloween, one of the best films ever made.
Don't think I've ever seen the first Freddy movie, right? The Nightmare on Elm Street. Don't think I've seen any of those.
You emphasize first several times here. Are you saying you've seen some of the sequels and not seen the originals?
I saw the terrible Halloween one that's not with the where it's like evil programmed pumpkins.
Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Great movie.
I saw that, and I think I saw the third Freddy movie when I was in South America in a movie theater, and I was like, what is, because I was just bored one day. I was like, I'll go to the movies. That was the only movie.
Go check out the cinema. I don't care that it says number 3 by the name.
Yeah, I wanted to go to the movies and see what it was like. And the funny thing was, it was in English and then the Spanish subtitles.
Oh, that is interesting. Yeah, that's cray. I love it.
Don't remember anything about it, but I think it was the third one. So those.
I mean, if it's the third one, it's Dream Warriors.
Could have been.
I couldn't tell you what it's about. I don't really remember. They all blend together.
So I'm assuming that in the good ones of those, the first of all these movies, you have a bunch of characters, right? And they
off to a good start.
They get picked off one at a time. There's rising tension as they sort of learn the rules and is trying to figure out what's going on before they're the next ones picked off. And then the last person sort of mobilizes that information to survive in some way.
Yeah, that's exactly right for Nightmare on Elm Street, right? Like that's exactly what happens because you have to learn the rules in that one. Rules are very important because he comes to you when you sleep, and that's pretty confusing.
Yeah.
Same with Friday the 13th. You have to figure out who the killer is because we all kind of think it's Jason. I wonder what it would have been like watching that movie when it came out, by the way, because I think people now look back on it and they forget that sometimes, since Scream, they probably, but they sometimes forget that it was actually Jason's mother. Mrs. Voorhees is the killer in the first movie, and Jason doesn't appear to the second one.
I've heard that, yeah.
Right. So I wonder if when you see it when it came out, if you had that thought that, oh, it's Jason back to life. But I feel like we have that thought because we know Jason comes back to life. Anyhow, very confusing. But yeah, she has to figure out who the killer is and then chops her head off, which is great. And then Halloween is the greatest film ever made, Dan, and you should probably watch it.
Okay. But I mean, you're scared because you feel like it's the deaths are inevitable, but the characters are trying to, it's not just like, each character just sort of wanders down a street and gets killed. They sort of have an understanding that there's something really to dread and there's an inevitability.
Yeah, they don't joke about it. You know what I mean? With their friends, when their friend's missing, their text like, "Where is she? So rude." What the fuck? What's happening? I'm getting ahead of myself, obviously, but there's some weird stuff in this movie. I just want to real quickly, Dan. Halloween is a masterclass of tension.
Oh,
I don't think that people watching today would watch it and be scared necessarily.
Sure,
but it builds tension perfectly, and it's like a perfectly paced film. It's beautifully shot. I would recommend watching that.
Okay, I'll watch Halloween. Then we get this movie, right? This movie. Oh yeah. Oh wait. Before I talk about this, a huge apology to you, Tony.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was very disparaging of Mikey.
Yeah,
there was actually stuff in Mikey.
See, thank you. Here's the problem, Dan. In general, first of all, I accept your apology because I know where it's coming from, and you haven't seen enough horror movies to understand that there was some really great stuff in Mikey, like really fun. It's not a good movie. We all agree it's a terrible movie, but there's some fun stuff in there, man.
There's a kid losing his shit because his mom sold fish that he was in love with. That more entertaining than the entirety of Slender Man, I believe.
Amen. Yeah, that's a 2-minute scene, and it blows this out of the proverbial water.
Oh my God!
Yeah, wow. No, this movie's really bad, though. To be very clear, this movie's really bad. This is,
you thought you were bored watching Mikey? No, watch Slender Man. You're just like, oh my God! Once again,
it's brutal.
Only an hour and 31 minutes. Thank God.
took me 2 days to watch it. We had to stop. We had to stop it last
You
night.
had to stop.
We took a time out. We're just like, you know what? We're gonna go back to watching Below Deck because this movie is terrible.
Yeah. Okay. But Halloween. I think that's the main things. Yeah. So this movie, it's really really bad.
It made me doubt Joey King as an actor, which made me sad because I think generally I like her. She was really bad.
Some good actresses in this movie.
Some people that have done things. Yeah, I don't know if I believe they're good anymore. Which is unfair. It's probably unfair.
The one girl that plays Chloe was
Dan, I'm gonna tell you right now. I don't know which girl is which.
The African American girl, Chloe.
Okay, great.
She's the lead in Generation V.
Yep. Yeah.
She's incredible in that. She's incredible in that. Yeah. The girl that plays Ren, who you just said her name, whatever her name is.
Joey King, yeah.
She's been in tons of stuff. I don't remember what, but she's been in stuff I really liked. I was like, she's really good. They don't give her anything to do.
No, this movie does not make you believe that they're good.
And the redheaded girl, Katie, she's been in all sorts of stuff. It's the funniest thing about this is you have 3 really good leads, and you pick this other girl who, of course,
is kind of the through line.
Who's the through line? Who is the least interesting of all of them.
Yeah. Here's what I want to talk about real quickly, Dan, is the naming in this movie.
Oh, God, so it's so painful.
We have Katie, Chloe, Lizzie, and there's one other E. What is the fourth?
You mean the main character in the movie?
That's the one. Yeah, what's her name?
Her name is Hallie.
Hallie. Why are they all E names? Why do they all end in E?
Oh,
I don't get it.
Shannon made I did the same bit to Shannon. She made a joke. It's like, because millennial women are stupid or something. She said something like that. And I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
Well, it's too bad she's not on the podcast. She would have knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, it's good joke. Good joke, Shannon.
Good job, Shannon.
So, yeah, the naming in this movie, it's just, you're like, at one point she goes into the woods searching for Katie, and I thought she was searching for her sister, and I'm like... And you're hearing a voice, and you're like, I don't know whose voice that is.
Also, the voice is coming from everywhere. Why would you go into the woods? Sorry, we'll talk about it later. I can't. Honestly, Dan, I wrote 5 pages of notes and then quit because I was like, I'm going to write down 4 things for every scene in this movie.
Okay, we start with spooky music, small town America, a school. Girls at the track. One of the girls sneezes, and the other girl's like, that's in the ancient times. That was how they said you were expelling a demon.
And then what's her joke?
Joke. I don't think there was.
Yeah,
a joke.
She says a joke. They think it's a joke. They laugh at it.
Oh.
She says that's why I quote never sneeze. That's not possible.
It's not a joke.
You have to sneeze. It's like that's just a lie. Right, like what's going on here?
I get yelled at for sneezing.
I'm sorry. How sneeze for me? Give me an example of what a Dan Goodsell sneeze is like, just so I know what I'm working with.
My sneezes are terrible.
Are they powerful?
They're powerful. They can be painful at times. I can hurt myself with my sneezes.
Like your lungs?
Oh yeah, no, I can pull a muscle in my chest because of my sneezes. They're so hard sometimes. It's painful.
Look at you.
So, I cover my mouth and still Shannon sometimes she'll get very angry with me because I sneeze too loud. And she's like, you can control that. I'm like, I can't control it.
I can't. That's where you're wrong.
I cannot control my sneezes. So
here's what I will say, Dad, because I'm in the opposite boat with my lady here.
You're like a little sneeze. You're like,
oh no, I sneeze. I have big sneezes,
okay.
And I always thought it's because I have a nice, powerful barrel chest, like a real man. But she does hide her sneezes. She will try to hold. She holds them in
her special.
She plugs her nose.
Plugs her nose.
Yeah, she holds it all in. I think she's going to give herself an aneurysm. I really think at one point in time she's going to do one of these and her head's just going to blow up, and that'll be the end of my wife. Wow. But yeah, so apparently you can technically control them. I just don't think you're supposed to. I think you're supposed to let them do what they do.
in the hall, they see boys. What are you boys doing? You guys gonna go to a circle jerk?
Which, yeah, I mean, we do that. It's true.
That's what we do.
It's true.
And then there's a kid who might be named Kyle, might be named Carl.
Yeah.
I'm
not sure.
So yes, like we said, with all the girls, Hallie is our main girl. Ren is sort of the bad girl. Chloe is the African American girl, and Katie is the red-haired girl.
By the way, let me just say real quickly, as and I'm a white guy, I get it. But if you have to specify a character in a movie as the African American or like the Asian girl, that means your characters aren't any good. That shouldn't be the only defining thing about them in the movie. All of these girls are the same to me in my head. I have no idea who any of them are. This is some of the worst character development I've ever seen in my life.
There's no character development. There's no arc.
Well, okay, you're right. It's just missing altogether. Yeah.
It's just they left that out. So it seems like Chloe, the African American girl, is into this Kyle guy.
Yeah,
and
maybe. Yeah.
Hallie and him sort of have something secret. So I'm like, oh, okay, here we go.
Maybe.
Right? She's into her, but Hallie's really kind of maybe not hooking up with him, but there's gonna, there's already there. And I'm like, oh, this is, and then Slender Man's gonna get involved.
Right. Classic high school drama. Yeah, absolutely. No, not at all. We never mention it again.
We never see that again. Oh no, we actually have one other scene where it sort of conflicts again, and I was like, oh,
do
okay.
we really?
Yeah, there's another scene where you're like, you like him.
So.
Oh, you like him, and I was like, they're doing it to Chloe. They're doing you like him, and I was like, oh, okay, we're good. We're gonna get there,
and then we drop it.
Then it's gone.
Okay, all right.
They're at dinner with the parents. We talk about track, how Hallie's into track, and track is this thing, and this sort of becomes a bit of a plot line at the end, a little tiny bit.
Oh, because she runs?
Well,
is that what you're saying?
There's a line where the two of them talk, and they're like, the girl, Hallie's like, oh, no, Ren's like, you only care about track. You only love track. And she's all like, yeah, I got track tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Because I also remember there's a part when they're doing the sacrificing, and one of the girls is like, oh, I'm surprised you didn't bring all your trophies and stuff. And then the other girl's like, I don't care about the trophies. And I was like, what? Who cares then? If you have trophies but don't care about them, what does that mean? What does that matter? Why is this in the movie? I don't care.
Because I think that's why the magic didn't work, because she did care about the trophies.
She did care. She's lying to everybody. The trophies are her most prized possession.
We learned one of the other teammates is pregnant. Mom is like this weird scold. You're like, oh my God, this mom is terrible. And the dad's kind of like, cool dad.
Aloof, yeah.
And then you're like, oh, this is going to ramp up.
No. Nope. Doesn't matter.
Little sister wants to come out with them. Her name is Lizzie. And then they're like, no.
She fits right into the group. Honestly, Ren and Lizzie should just switch, because Ren doesn't really fit in the group.
And Lizzie, looks the same age, is the same height. We're just like,
if not a little older. There were moments where I was like, I think she's older than these girls. She's got some wisdom in those eyes.
They go to the redhead's house, who is Katie, and immediately start watching porn.
Yeah. I can't really comment on this, being that I've never been at a sleepover for girls. I don't believe it.
I don't think that's their automatic go-to. Is first thing off, let's watch a bunch of porn so that we can understand it. I'm like, who is writing this? Do some things that girls maybe do.
Boys are writing this. This is what we fantasize girls do at sleepovers. We're like, they're thinking about it just as much as we are.
Her dad is upstairs drunk. She's like, one of these days I'm getting out of here, hitting the road and doing something.
Yeah, I don't know what she was gonna do.
Yeah. And then they're like, probably Ren says, you know what the boys are doing tonight? They're summoning Slender Man.
Which is weird because guaranteed the boys are the ones watching porn. Right?
Yes.
Like it's weird that the girls are watching porn and be like, you know what the boys are probably doing? Occult things. Definitely that's what no, the boys are watching the same porn you are right now.
You know, we played Dungeons and Dragons when we were kids.
Yeah, me too.
We didn't do occult things. We played Dungeons and Dragons, played board games, we played video games.
We messed around. Yeah, we messed around with a Ouija board. I'm not going to lie to you.
Oh, you got out
we
the
used
Ouija
to love a good Ouija. Yeah.
You and the boys.
Well, yeah, I mean, I brought it to the boys.
Post-circle jerk.
Because my mom was into it. For the circle jerk. Yeah, we all got in a circle around.
Okay, that's rude. Your mom was into the Ouija board.
My mom's big time into like the ghosts and the afterlife. Still is. We're gonna go ghost hunting after I get fired from my job here.
Oh, really? We're gonna form our own ghost hunting channel.
Well, that's one of our plans. She's got an RV, and we're like, let's just travel the U.S. and do some ghost hunting, capture the whole thing, become millionaires on YouTube.
Can I like ride behind you on a motorcycle and like I can be kind of
Do you have a motor? Yes, Dan, you're invited. If you bring a motorcycle, you can come anywhere you want, man. That's cool. If you have a jacket, you have to wear the leather jacket too.
Make a leather jacket.
Badass. But yeah, my mom was totally into it, so we used to do it as a family. Minus my dad, because my dad obviously doesn't believe in any of that. And then I would try to get the boys to do it. Yeah. I love ghosts.
Doing the Ouija board. Excellent.
But also we played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons and a lot of video games. We used to do LAN parties. It wasn't like a main staple. It wouldn't be, if someone was guessing what we were doing, they wouldn't guess we were playing with a Ouija board. That was like a rare occurrence in October.
Sure. Now, what land parties? What is a land party?
LAN, local area network. You hook up a bunch of computers and you play multiplayer. This is before massive online play. So you used to play like Halo 3, that's a good one. Quake Arena. Everybody remembers that game.
I've heard of that. So they go on the internet. They find out about Slender Man. He preys upon the youth. How you summon him, what you do is you close your eyes, clear your thoughts, and then these three bells go bong, bong, bong.
Now, Dan,
and that's
did you do any research? Because
no,
I went on a couple of different Wikipedias, and I couldn't find that this was the summoning for Slender Man at all.
Oh, really? So this part they made up.
I don't know. Maybe they found a different website than I did 5 years ago. I don't know. But this is, from my understanding, this is not correct. I don't know.
Okay. Well, this is the lore of the movie, so I think this is how kids all do it now.
Right, but it's just very like Candyman,
Candyman,
or Bloody
Candyman.
Mary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
there's nothing.
They were like, well, we have to find a way to summon it, which I don't think you do. I think he's just there. I think he decides when he comes. I think. Anyhow.
Well, I mean...
So this is what we've set up. You're absolutely right. This is the world we live in.
This movie is devoid of new ideas, so they may as well just fold in other mediocre ideas, and that'll be that.
Which they do, big time, because this movie is basically The Ring.
Oh, I wish. I wish it was The Ring.
No, obviously not as good. But apparently the whole thing is they watched a video, and now that's summoning him as well?
They watched the video... And they summoned him, but then they're also infected by the video. So you've got Candyman summoning,
right,
and video infection. And when they take off the blindfolds and they get video infected, it's like
some weird distortion. I don't know. And I don't get it.
And Slenderman, kind of a tree, kind of lives in a tree, kind of comes out of a tree, kind of also is a tree.
Yeah, he's got like those tentacles that sometimes look like a tree. Yeah.
Got tentacles.
Dan.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question.
Ask me a question.
Horror movies have rules, right? What are the rules of Slender Man? Can you tell me? Can you concisely tell me what his rules are?
He's going to either take you away or drive you insane.
Why? How does he choose between the two?
You can't know. He just decides.
You can't. He just decides.
He arbitrarily decides what he wants to do to you. But
that's great. That's great.
It's interesting. Do you know who H.P. Lovecraft is?
Dan, of course. Are you
Oh,
kidding me? I
no.
love HP.
Okay, you love H.P. Lovecraft, super big racist, but whatever, Tony.
Okay, hold time. Hold. I don't know. I'm not saying I love him as a person. I've never met him. Okay, I don't know him that well. I love his works. All
Okay.
right.
So H.P.
Super big
Lovecraft.
racist.
I know that's the funny thing. You got all the woke people who don't like. They're all like, you can't like H.P. Lovecraft anymore because he was a huge racist. It's
Yeah,
like,
I mean, and they took away Orson Scott Card because
well,
he's a bad guy.
you see, he's alive and a piece of shit. So
He is, and that is the difference, right?
It's
like he's still kicking and still doing bad things. That's on you, sir.
If H.P. Lovecraft was still alive and he was like, going on live streams and being a big dick, you'd be like, man,
then we could hate him. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna go somewhere else for my fun. You're like, in 1911 he was a horrible racist. I'm gonna have to let some of that go.
Right? It's like, not great, but it was a long time ago.
I'm gonna acknowledge that if his books are like that. Okay, H.P. Lovecraft always is like sort of positing these intelligences from outside our world that would come down here, which we could not understand.
Right.
So that's what Slenderman is. He's like,
but it's different, right? Because also he doesn't understand himself. You know what I mean? Slenderman's confused. He's going through an identity crisis, and nobody's helping him figure it out. Honestly, I feel bad for him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's not that different than like, some Doctor Who villains like the Silence, right? Kind of has the same look as the Silence from Doctor Who.
I believe you. Yeah.
I didn't look up when they did the Silence, but I think
I feel like there was an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer that had something similar, like a tall, skinny dude in a suit. I'm pretty sure. It's been a long time since I've watched Buffy, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I'm interested to go back to Buffy. I've never gone back to it.
I went back to Buffy at the beginning of the pandemic when I never made it all the way through because we did the spinoff when Angel left. We started watching Angel, and then we remembered that show wasn't nearly as good, and then we just quit everything.
Good old Charisma Carpenter. Whatever happened to her?
She was in something recently that I saw.
Oh, good.
Yeah, you do your thing. I'm going to look it up because there's definitely something.
So, yes. So, boom, evil gate. Oh, there's an evil gate in the forest, which I guess if you go through the gate, you end up in Slenderman land.
Why? Where did that come from? What does that have to do with anything?
Don't know.
Okay, great.
They watch a movie, and then they go to bed, and then they start having bad dreams. A week later, they're all having bad dreams. But because they're such good friends, they don't talk to each other about all having bad dreams after doing the Slenderman thing.
Right. What? I'm going to posit a theory here, Dan. These girls, not actually friends. They're not friends at all.
Not really. They don't seem like it. And
they don't seem like it at all.
You'd start talking. That's the whole thing is you exchange information.
We have text messages now, Dan. The random shit that I get from my brother over text message these days, you know what I mean? Like, people say dumb shit all the time because it's so easy. I don't have to call you. I don't have to see you. I can just, wake up and be like, bro, guess what I just dreamed about? Clifford the Red Dog. Who gives a shit? But you know everything. Information is so freely distributed these days.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong. So there, yes. Where do they take the field trip to, Tony?
A cemetery? Did I get that right?
An historic cemetery.
Is that so? You grew up in Los Angeles. Did you ever take a trip to the Hollywood Cemetery for school or something?
I grew up in Orange County.
Does that not count? I don't know anything about California.
Very different. I'm trying to think if I knew where there was a cemetery as a kid. I don't know. Shannon, as opposed to Shannon, who grew up in LA, they used to hang out in cemeteries. Absolutely.
Wait, first of all, that's different than going on a field trip. She was just hanging out in cemeteries?
She was a goth.
Dan, you got to get out. You got to get out now, okay? Something going on with Shannon.
Draining my soul when I'm sleeping.
Just sucking out.
No. They definitely, and I'm sure Shannon and her people definitely did magic. Of course.
Like Wicca?
Yeah, of course.
Cool.
You know.
Yeah, that's dope.
Of course they did.
Ask her if she ever did a Ouija board. I want to hear.
I don't
Not
know.
right now. You don't ask her
I'll
right
ask
now,
about the
but-
Ouija board. It's a good question.
Yeah. We can get together.
Field trip to the graveyard. Claudia was. I don't even know who Claudia is. Someone was macking. I wrote macking on Carl, the kid. So I think maybe it was Katie was. Maybe it was Chloe was macking on Carl. So
I just love that you use the word macking.
I know.
Yeah, that's great.
I wrote that down because I knew you would enjoy that. They've all been having nightmares. Katie, the redhead, zones out, and she's sort of seeing stuff. And the next we know, she's gone.
I didn't even know. Did I miss something, Dan? Because here's what I remember.
You did.
They're in like the cemetery area. She's looking into the woods.
Yep. Looking.
And then the next scene where everyone's normal, but
Yep.
she's missing. And nobody cares?
Well, no, the next scene, everyone's like sort of milling around, and then a guy gets out of a car in tan suit. And I'm like, oh. And then there's like 6 or 8 parents who are all convoying, and then the police show up, and then we hear that that Katie has disappeared, and then we put all the kids on the bus, and they're all like on the bus, and they're all pissed. But the kids are all pissed because it's holding them up.
Right. Nobody cares that someone disappeared from their field trip.
Nope.
That's weird to me. Even if they didn't like her, some people were her friends, right? Some people should care.
I mean, everybody knows who her 3 friends are, and no one in a position of authority talks to any of those 3 kids.
Right. Nobody. It's weird. There's no emotional connection to a missing child.
Not really.
It's bizarre.
It's pretty weird. Let's see. Got on the bus. So she's been gone for a week, and then Lizzie, the younger sister, is telling the older sister, tell the truth. What happened? And she's like, I don't know.
But she's excited.
Yeah, she's very thrilled.
I just want to the vibe of this scene is excitement, like something fun happened.
Yep.
Lizzie is smiling and kind of like giggling a little,
Tell me the truth.
And the sister's not upset. If your friend, Dan, if I went missing and someone was joking about it to you, I hope you'd at least get upset.
I would have moved on after a week. I would have been.
Give it maybe a day. How about a day? Would a day still be fresh enough for you to feel something?
I don't feel.
You son of a bitch. You know what, Dan?
No, it's, the thing about...
It's just weird.
The thing about grief is, we all handle it differently, but
of course.
It sits in us, and that's the thing about it is, I think they're sort of saying that she left to go on an adventure, because she sort of said things about...
Yeah, they're all pretending she ran away.
I mean, but they're not even all pretending, they're... I don't know. It is weird. You'd think you'd get together and you'd be like, "What the hell's you would."
Right. We're all having weird shit happen. What's going on?
You'd want to all get on the same page. What, did she tell you anything? Did she, you would have a conspiratorial.
Right, you're her best friends, and she would have told somebody if she was running away. She clearly did not run away. We all know it.
Yeah, and they should, the sister should yell at Lizzie and say, "I don't know where she is."
Right.
This is a nice
have
moment.
A reaction.
This is a nice moment to have some emotions. You've hired young actresses, to emote. Have them do some emoting.
Nah. Too much work.
Because emoting is how you draw us. If the person on screen cares about something, maybe we will care about it.
And if nobody cares, then guess what? I don't give a shit. And also, she's texting. This is the scene where she's texting her friends, I think, right? And one of the friends had sent a text that was like, "Where is she?" ? So rude.
Rude.
Which is very weird. Yeah, rude. What are you talking about?
See, if you showed up an hour late to this, I would be rude. If if I could not get in touch with you, this never happened, and days passed, and I'm like, where is Tony?
This is weird. Something's going on.
You weren't doing anything on Pikmin. I'd be like, what is happening? I wouldn't say, so rude that Tony ceased to exist from the planet. Rude.
He just disappeared off the face of the earth. Wow, what a jerk.
See,
let me just say how good it makes me feel, Dan, that if I died, you would know because Pikmin wouldn't update. It's good to have those connections.
It would anger me and Shannon if you weren't.
Shannon would be furious
if you weren't on our challenges.
She gets so mad at me.
Like I take the dog for a walk multiple times during the day. Right?
Yeah,
Take
good.
the dog
Good for you.
we go on very short walks. We go to the end of the block, we come back. Most people take
Perfect
their dogs
amount.
on gigantic walks. I'm like, that's cool. She's
tiny.
One time we walked her up 4 blocks to the Starbucks. She was having an apoplexy. She just was like, she knows this block. Once you start taking her a long ways, she's not into it. So whatever.
So don't do it.
Every time I take the dog out, except maybe the first walk, Shannon has to bring up Pikmin, start planting flowers for me to walk 3 houses that way, 3 houses back.
You always got to be working. All right.
So I love it. We would know if you were gone.
You would hear about it. Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, I have one question to ask you. Why don't you register any steps on your phone on Pikmin during the week?
It is weird, right? And here's the answer, Dan, is most of the time my phone is just sitting on my desk at work because I'm on it, right, while I'm not supposed to be. And then I set it down and then I go do something. And then I come back and I'm like, I forgot my phone. Those steps are worth nothing. I should get a watch.
You should. So you don't have so basically your phone sits in a place. It doesn't walk around with you all day.
It just sits at my desk during the work day. Okay. Yeah, it's bad. I know, but we're going on a corn maze tomorrow, so we'll get lots of steps there.
There it is. I know Shannon's worried we're not going to make the challenge this weekend.
We're going to make it. Tell Shannon it's okay. We're going to make it. I promise.
Okay. Then someone's in the house. They hear people in the house. They run away. They go upstairs, and lo and behold, it's Katie's dad has broken into their house and is looking for Katie there, looking for answers.
Right.
And blames Hallie. It's your fault.
This is where I get confused.
Since you came around, she's all into the occult.
Is that what happened? Is she new to town, Dan?
I don't know.
I don't know either, because he's like, she was never into the occult stuff. This is your fault. We haven't seen this girl, Ren. Is this the character?
Yeah, Ren.
We haven't seen her be into the occult at all.
No, wait, I have a question. Weren't they just in her house? Wouldn't they have seen all the occult?
100%. Yeah, they were all... Well, it was a week ago, right?
A week ago,
But then she also disappeared, so she hadn't spent a lot of time in the house without them.
How does he know she's into the occult? She just got into the occult since they summoned Slender Man. She's all like, I got to get into that occult now.
Of days. Yeah, I don't know, man. None of it makes any sense, but he attacks her, and then there's no repercussions.
They run away from him, and then then we got the next day, we have the school missing Katie posters. The boys ask about Slender Man, and they're all like, it's not a game.
Why are they asking about Slender Man?
Because they were going to summon Slender Man, and the girls were like, we summoned him.
But why isn't anybody asking about Katie? You know what I mean?
They made posters. That's covered.
Okay, that covers it. They're like, all right, now we're good. We've reached our quota for the day. We can talk about ourselves again.
Well, that's the truth, isn't it? People always want to just talk about themselves.
I guess you're right.
That's why
I love it.
That's why I'm always talking about Shannon. Because I'm incredibly uninteresting. So at night, they're
that is incorrect.
We're going to go to Katie's house. They go to Katie's house. The one girl goes to the front. The other 2 girls sneak in the back.
Why? Why is this the plan, Dan?
And Ren's like, I need to have a drink with you, Pops.
Yeah, so she seduces the dad while the other 2 girls sneak upstairs. What's happening right now?
It was weird.
It's a super weird scene. I'm pretty sure since they're all her friends, they could just be like, hey, can we see her room? We miss her. And boom, you're in the room. It's very strange. Also, how did they get out?
Oh, that's what happens between scenes. You never show that.
I know that. They do a cut. They're in the room, and then they cut, and they're out of the house. I don't believe it, because he's no longer at the door. He's in the living room with Joey King, and they would see them walk down the stairs right next to them. Just saying.
Probably another way out.
There's probably a back way, right? I'm sure.
So they find the drawings, one of which is Katie holding hands with a tree, big tree, holding Katie's hand as a kid. I like that drawing.
Do you like it based on this movie?
I I just thought it was kind of cool, the idea of holding hands
Right,
with a tree.
Not that it relates to the movie and you thought it was clever. You just like the drawing independently.
They're like, oh, the police took her laptop, and they're like, why don't we look in the secret place in her closet, which is just in her closet.
Yeah, it's just the closet. Like, there's not a lot of secrets.
And there's the laptop.
Now, is that, did she have 2 laptops?
Tony,
why did they assume?
Tony, I'm going to ask you a question. Have you ever watched any police shows?
Unfortunately, yes.
What do police do when someone goes
search
missing?
Things. They look around stuff, especially, I mean, and this isn't even a police show. Now we're talking about like Psych, right?
Sure.
He loves to find things hidden in rooms because that's where the clues are.
Sure.
There's always clues hidden in the rooms of the victims. Always.
Clues, yes.
Yeah, they search for clues.
But what's the first thing that happens before he can get all the clues? The police come in and take all the laptops, don't they?
Well, sure, yeah. They take a bunch of stuff. Probably phones nowadays, too.
Yeah. So how is that laptop just sitting in the closet?
Not only how is it there, but why did they assume that it was gone? Why were they like, well, the police took her laptop, but they didn't take her laptop? Wouldn't the police know that they didn't take her laptop and would be like, why don't we have a kid's laptop? She definitely has one. It's all weird. None of it makes any sense unless she has 2 laptops, one normal, one secret for porn.
Would you, do you think they would know her password?
No, not a chance. Do you know my password?
Your voodoo password.
Yeah, that's true. So actually, you do know.
I know all of your passwords.
It's the same.
Oh my god! I'm police. If anything happens to Tony, I got the in.
Yeah, you're good. Actually, so it turns out you're right. You're in.
So they take the laptop home. Looks like Katie has downloaded every Slender Man video on the internet and has been watching them. Katie then also plays a video of herself in the woods the night before.
How's that possible?
What do you mean?
So she took the video
of herself, right? Yes.
On her phone.
Yes.
Is that not the night she disappeared?
No, it was the night before. She disappeared during the day at the graveyard. This video is from the night before.
You're right. So what happens in the video?
Nothing.
Because it was too dark for me to really understand what was happening in a lot of this movie. But, I didn't understand. There's a lot of times in this movie, Dan, we would be seeing a scene and there'd be like the scary noises that are almost the jump scare noises. But I couldn't see anything behind anyone. So I didn't know if I was supposed to see something and be scared or not.
Nope, it's just a video that proves that she existed before she disappeared.
Oh, she did exist. Okay, got it.
I don't know what the video. I don't know what they learned. They didn't learn anything from this video. It didn't help them at all.
All right, so I didn't miss much. Is what you're saying.
It was worthless.
Great.
Ren goes home. She's on the computer. She tracks down this person, Alley Cat 93, who's their lore person, who's going to feed them lore for the rest of the movie occasionally. How did she get a hold of Alley Cat 93?
Because she broke into Katie's laptop, and Alley Cat thought that she was Katie.
Oh, I see.
And she goes, "No, this is Katie's friend. Katie's missing." And Alley Cat said, "Of course she is," which is a weird response to that statement.
And then they want to know how to get her back. Then we sort of do some more backstory. Slender Man is a brain virus. He takes you or he drives you mad.
Which, by the way, not really what a virus does, but it's fine.
We have to unveil ourselves. How do you unveil yourself? You unveil yourself by surrendering something that you care about. And also, Katie asked to be taken.
This doesn't make any sense.
So Katie wanted to go with Slender Man.
Which is not... No, she didn't.
Yes, she did.
She didn't.
She did. That's why she went to the forest beforehand. She was like setting it up. She was, it's like that's like the, when you're getting married, that's like the pre-wedding.
The offering?
Yeah, the offering.
I don't know what you're saying. Pre-wedding.
The
pre-wedding sacrifice.
It's like the practice. It's like a practice taking.
You mean like when you do like the dinner beforehand?
The dinner, yes. That's what it is.
What is that called? Why can't I think of what that's called?
The pre-release dinner. What is that called?
We're the two dumbest men on earth.
Pre-release dinner, we're gonna call it that. So yeah, so that's the thing. So what they're gonna do is
why would anybody want to go with Slender Man?
because her
He
dad's a drunk.
kills you but he kills you.
No,
your
he
drunk
takes
dad
you.
hasn't killed you.
No, he takes you back to Slenderman Land.
And what is that?
You don't know.
Nobody knows.
It's better than
not a good thing because here's what we know about
it's
Slender
better
Man.
than living
Dan.
with a drunk dad.
Not a chance, because here's what we know. 1, he takes you somewhere, right? 2, he drives you insane. He drives you insane, and that's not being taken. It's got to be worse if you take it.
You would think so, but you've never lived in a situation like you. You can't live her
That's
life.
true.
You can't. You don't know her life.
I shouldn't judge.
You
I
don't
shouldn't
know
make
her.
judgments. That's true. You're right.
You
I'm sorry.
You don't know her. So they're gonna.
You don't know her.
They're gonna go to the woods. They're gonna take their stuff, and then they're gonna.
Right.
I guess they destroy it or surrender it. I guess they destroy it.
Now, at what point in the lore were they like, well, he works on a barter system, so if you give him some trinkets, he'll give you your friend back? Where does that come from?
I think Alley Cat 93 implied it.
She sure did, but it doesn't make any sense.
It's certainly
he's not like a collector of things, right? That's not his thing.
I mean, that's the thing. It's not like they have a video of this one guy like, oh, he took my sister and I gave him a hound dog and now
I got my sister
back, but I'm down a hound dog.
This is like if you became a serial killer, right? Like you would work on a barter system. You would be like, if you have any old things that I can resell on eBay, bring them and I'll give you back your sister.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, some old troll dolls, maybe. Those probably sell for a hot tick. A Beanie Baby or 2. Put them in a box. I'll give you back your daughter.
Yeah, why not?
It's weird.
I
don't know.
Makes sense to me.
So
they, one of them brings something from pottery class. One of them has
which can't mean that much. First of all,
the only photo of their dad that's real or something.
Right.
Something that.
And then what's the other one?
Something grandmother gave her, like a blanket. Maybe it was blankets.
Yeah,
from grandma.
What? And then she died a week later. Okay, this is weird. Do you don't even sleep with the blanket? I'm pretty sure. So does it really mean that much to you?
They look like they're in pretty good shape.
It's a brand new blanket. I'll be honest with you. Unless grandma died yesterday.
And they pull out the missing poster of Katie, and then they burn the stuff up. Now what we have to do is you have to put blindfolds on. And we have to wait for the 3 bells, but don't look in his face. Don't look in his face, and don't take off the blindfold.
Why?
Because that's the rules.
But there's the rules change. There are no real rules. There are things that people assume and then are usually wrong about.
Well, they give you rules each time, and if you don't follow them correctly.
But there's so many rules.
It's not that many rules. It's just they're arbitrary and stupid.
But that's what I mean. Like it's not a cohesive set of rules.
Well, the thing is they just keep getting. To get to the next scene, you give them some new rules.
A new rule. Yeah.
Here's some new rules.
That's not how things work.
Well, in this movie, it is. So they're doing the bells, and then Chloe freaks out, takes off the blindfold, screams and runs. Then they chase her. And I mean, you're not even sure because they take off their blindfolds. And I'm like,
right.
Do you really want me taking off your blindfold in the middle of the
right.
thing?
Now we've all broken the rules. And then... Could you see? I know you adjusted the brightness on your screen. You said when what's her name is running through the woods. Yeah. Could you see anything?
I mean, you could see a person running through the woods.
Okay, I couldn't. Let me just tell you, on my TV, my 65-inch television, which it's on the cheaper side, right? Like I'm not a rich person. I'm a poor person. But it's still a big TV.
First world problems. I'm a poor person. I only have a 65-inch TV.
First of all, I would love an 85-inch because 85 inches fits right between our 2 bookshelves and it would look beautiful. But my wife won't let me get a bigger TV. All I'm saying is I couldn't tell what she was doing. And then there was a loud noise at some point, and I don't know if she ran into a tree. I don't know if she fell down. I don't know anything.
They weren't doing anything. They're just running around.
Sure.
I mean, nothing. Sure. It's not like anything happened that you have to see. They're just
I would like to see something, though, because I'm watching a movie, and I would like to at least be a part of the experience.
So then Chloe is back. Oh, here she is.
She lost a shoe.
Oh, yeah, she lost a shoe. That was one of the better lines in the whole movie.
Sure, great.
Yeah.
Because she's a little traumatized. I love it.
And then they start getting videos. Chloe starts getting videos of her room. And then at the
Dan, when did Slender Man get a phone to send this video calls and videos to people? How did he get a phone?
Well, he can
Did he go buy one in a store?
He can manipulate all that.
He could just make videos out of it. He does a video call with the girl in the next scene soon. I don't remember when it is.
Yeah.
A literal video call.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
I don't know. If I needed to do a video call, I'd call someone like you, and you'd help me.
You'd call me on a rotary telephone, yes, and then I would explain to you how to get on a video call.
Boop, beep, boop, 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 beep, boop, 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 boop. Tony, help me. So he starts getting videos of the room. At the 43-minute mark, Slender Man appears, and he grabs her.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that's Slender Man. He got her.
He got her. And then what happens? And it's a genuine question because I couldn't see very well in this scene either, and I'm a little confused.
He grabbed her.
And he was choking her, right?
Mm. All I wrote down is that he grabbed her.
So this is Chloe, yes?
Yep, Chloe.
Yeah. So it looked like he grabbed her and was choking her, but then it cuts to the mirror, and it looked like she might have been choking herself.
They did do that. They did cut to that. Yes, it was all in her. Okay. It's all in her mind or in the mirror.
So it's just all in your head. Okay.
Yeah, Slender Man gets in there. He's like a virus. They told us. They told
Very
us that
confusing stuff.
Virus.
Yeah. For sure. Virus.
There's like a fungus that gets inside a beetle's brain, I think. Then it makes the beetle climb, and the beetle like climbs.
Oh no!
And then when it gets to the top,
then what happens?
Eats the rest of the beetle, and then it spores everywhere. So it takes.
So it infects other beetles?
Yeah.
Wow, that's fucked up.
Yeah, that's kind of Slender Man works. But he also has control of it. But his sprouts go into the video world.
Sure, right, of course, obviously.
Makes sense.
It makes total sense. It all makes perfect sense in here.
At school, Carl is like, "Oh, how you doing, Hallie? Oh yeah, let's do something. You and me. All your friends are disappearing, so you have more free time.
So you want to go on a date, girl?"
I think she looks out and sees Slender Man.
Yeah, in the woods. Doesn't say anything.
Wouldn't
you, Dan, just out of curiosity, would you ask if he saw something? I had this conversation with Naomi, and she did not think that you would. So you're having a conversation with a young lady that you're trying to take on a date, right?
Hey.
And you see Slender Man in the woods.
I am man, see Slender Man in the woods, and I'm talking to a cutie.
Right. Would you be like, hey, do you see this man in the woods? By any chance?
I would point out the Slender Man in the woods to the girl I was talking to. So would I.
And Naomi was like, well, you don't want to seem crazy in front of the beau that you're trying to date. And I was like, that's pretty fucked up.
She's right.
You're so worried about impressing the guy that you're willing to risk your life.
She's right. She's actually right.
When she said it, I was like, fuck. That's probably correct. That's probably what most people would do. But that's the wrong thought, everybody.
Good character process. Yeah, I agree with her.
She's right. She's very smart.
You mean, it's almost like ask a girl about how a girl would react to something. Don't ask a guy.
Right, exactly. I can't believe I never thought of that. It's so weird.
Okay, so Ren's doing her research. She finds out that Slender Man is named Abyzou, Abyzou. He's also the Pied Piper. And she's doing this all in the library.
Which was my college mascot, by the way.
Abyzou?
No, the Pied Pipers. Hamlin University Pied Pipers.
Oh. Did a lot of kids go missing?
Yeah, just because they ran away from the school because it sucked. I'm sorry, that was rude.
We got some jump scares in the library. She tries to call Hallie.
I don't understand this library, Dan. I got two things to say about it. First of all, this is the middle of the day, yes?
Probably.
It's
I think so.
let me rephrase. This is the middle of the day because she then goes outside and it's daytime. Why is it so dark in this library? There are no lights anywhere, right? It's very, very dark. And then the lights all go out on her.
That's in her mind.
It's in her mind. I get it. But here's my question. She starts running around the dark. Is she doing that in real life? Or is she standing still and all of it is in her mind?
She's probably like, it's probably like she's in probably a dream state. So she's like,
okay, so you don't think that she's actually going through the physical motions?
I don't
You know
think
what I mean?
so.
Because the girl in the last scene was choking herself.
Yes.
Right? So she's going through those motions. But Joey King is running through a crowded library, yelling and screaming. I'm confused on what's happening and what's real and what's not.
Later, when Lizzie's in the hospital and she's freaking out, she's contained in her insanity.
That's true. No, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So
I still don't know why the first girl's choking herself then.
So Slender Man shows up in the library, turns off the lights. He does a bunch of camera tricks. Short haul becomes long haul.
Yeah, he's basically Doctor Strange. Yeah.
Grabs her face, steals her face, and then the librarian's like, "Wake up, little girl, wake up."
Wake up, little Susie.
And so then she takes the books, one of which is like, says Slender Man is like a harmonic something.
Yeah, I don't know. She said a word. I don't know.
And I was like, oh, wow, that's a thing. Maybe they can get, maybe they'll throw a microwave at him, because at least like in that, that good movie, the good horror movie that we watched, It Follows. They got a plan, we're going to throw a microwave into the pool and kill it. And they almost pull it off. I think that guy's making another movie. They almost
pull it off.
They're making another movie, I think. It's going to be good.
Well, good, because the rest of his movies, everyone realized that he's talentless, so he's got to go back to the well that worked.
Takes her books and leaves, goes to see Hallie, and is like, it's a symbiotic relationship. And Ren's like, she's losing now. I'm going crazy. And then Hallie's like, I was talking to someone, Tom. And she's like, Tom? Why are you talking to Tom? This is a girl's
I don't
thing.
care about Tom. Yeah,
like
it's very weird.
It's very weird. You're like, oh, I mean, wait, where's Carl?
I don't know whatever happened to Carl.
Wait a second, that's a different guy now.
It's a brand new guy.
Wait,
that somebody else likes, because this is a different person that likes him, right? I think.
I'm so confused. I thought it was the same guy, but now I realize it's two different guys.
No, it's a different guy. It was always a different guy. If that helps you.
So
anything.
Hallie wasn't into Carl.
Maybe she was earlier? I don't know. Dan, I don't know, man.
And then we get the classic line, you care more about track than Chloe. Chloe is not well. Black under the eyes, not talking.
Yeah.
So then Ren and Hallie fight, and Hallie's like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going back to real life. I got a date.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's cool.
Michael Myers not going to be out. Freddy's not coming after me anymore. I'm done with Freddy. Freddy, you're old news.
It's all good.
I'm moving on. Freddy's like, I'm
going to go get laid.
I don't think so.
It's a real weird choice for this character, but it's great. I love it.
Putting on makeup. She goes to Tom's house. Tom's house, incredibly well lit.
Yeah, the only place in the entire town that has lights, apparently.
You're like, whoa, okay. And she's all
Tom's family is the rich family of the city. They can pay for electricity.
they can afford electricity. All right, it's a change.
So good, so good.
He's all like, she's like, so where's the party? And he's all like, oh, there's no party. My parents are gone and all my siblings are gone.
Leave. You got to get out. This is a trap. This is not okay behavior, by the way. Don't bait and switch and then get alone with the girl. That's not okay.
Now talk to me about Tony in like a real horror movie. What would this mean?
it means that he's the killer. Or that you think he's the killer. That's usually what it means. And then sometimes you're wrong, and then the killer will show up and kill the boy, and you're like, oh, no, it wasn't him. But then if it's Scream, then it turns out it really was him, and that was a fake death, and they were using fake blood, and it's great stuff.
Now, in this movie, why doesn't she just go to his house knowing that he's going to just be there?
Yeah, they just made it weird for no reason because it's not a slasher, right? There's no confusion over who the killer is. Yeah. So it's not a red herring at all. It's just a weird choice for this boy to make, and it makes him not a great guy.
Just makes him creepy, and we're just
exactly.
And we don't need him to be creepy for any reason.
No, if anything, we want him to be not creepy because he's like her emotional support right now.
Yeah. So he shows her his dad's oh wait, this is like my favorite part. Okay.
The final collection is your favorite part of the movie?
He's like, he shows her, he's like, I'm really into records. These are my dad's records. I'm really into them. I was like, oh, that's like what? It's so sad. You're just like, if you're into records, why don't you like show her your like 7 records you have?
Why don't you have records? Yeah.
You
idiot.
You carry a little pile. This is my little pile of records. All those are my dad's, but this is my little pile.
These are my 4 right here. Huey Lewis in the News. Sports. Nailed it.
Sports. They start making out. And then Slender Man's like, he's messing with the music.
All right.
He freaks out. She screams. His face goes.
Which is really funny.
Okay.
Like, I laughed really hard. I think in a different movie, it would have been interesting. But I was so over this movie that as soon as his face started distorting, I just lost my mind. I was confused because the record player is analog, technically, right?
He can control all technology.
That doesn't make sense to me.
Have you ever seen those movies where the toaster moves around? Ghostbusters, right? The toaster eggs.
But isn't there a
fry
ghost
themselves? Don't the eggs fry themselves? Slender Man, he's part ghost, part technological creature.
I guess. I don't know.
I mean,
it's fine.
Let's rewrite the scene really quick, right? She's like,
okay, great.
Tom's on top for like making out, and then he goes back. He's like, and then his fingers get all Slender Man, and then he cuts her face with one of his fingers, and she starts bleeding and cuts her face. I'm like, oh man, this is getting intense. And then he goes, then she screams, and then he's like, what's happening? And then something like instead, and then nothing happens,
back, and her face is still bleeding.
Oh, her face is still bleeding, and he's like, he freaks out because he's all like,
"What just happened?"
He's like, what did you do? And she's like, what did you do? What did you do? They're blaming each other.
I love it. And then they still have sex.
And they have sex.
And that's a horror scene right there.
Okay. Boom, boom, boom. I wrote, in the kitchen, she opens up. He pulls up the video. It's just a video. She leaves.
Oh, yeah, because she tells him everything about Slender Man, which I think is a mistake.
Oh, so she tells him the whole story.
And then he pulls up the video and he's like, is this it? And she freaks out and tells him he can't watch it, he promises not to watch it, but he's going to watch it.
The next day in science class, there's tension between Hallie and Ren, and Tom is being weird. Tom has watched the video.
Tom went full emo. He showed up dressed in black with a beanie on. He's got circles under his eyes. This isn't what happened immediately to the girls. I don't understand.
I was telling Shannon the other night, it's just last night, I was like, I don't really pay any attention to people. I don't see anything that happens. And if you said you just told me he's wearing very different clothing.
Super different. Yeah, he totally changes his characteristics.
You say, Dan, was he wearing different clothing? I'd be like, I don't know.
I don't know. He's probably wearing the same outfit the whole movie. I don't know.
I mean, if it was colorful, if he was wearing like a yellow suit in one and then a black suit, I'd be like, he went from yellow suit to black suit. I get it. But if it's just a stupid kid, I don't see any of that.
Joey King calls him Abercrombie Tom. And then he shows up in all blacks the next scene. You don't know the difference between Abercrombie and emo? Come on, Dan.
I know the difference between Abercrombie. I don't know the difference between
Am I saying Amber?
Abercrombie. There's no such thing as Abercrombie. There's Abercrombie and Fitch. Jesus Christ, Tony.
Abercrombie.
I think
all right, I got it down
it's
now.
Fitch, right? It's not Finch. I think it's Finch.
It's Fitch. Yeah, Finch was a band.
It was a bird.
Let It Burn.
Finch is a bird.
Great stuff.
Little bird.
Little
Okay,
bird.
so Tom watched the video. He's out of the movie. Okay, now leave the movie.
Right. Why? So why did he watch the video?
Oh, because
if it's not going to matter, Dan.
You know, I'm going to tell you something, Tony.
Please, I would love to learn something today.
So I've been watching these videos of it's like police body cam videos.
Okay, sure.
So I start watching one. 80-year-old man arrested for impersonating federal officer. I'm like, okay, that's going to be interesting.
Click on that. Yeah, absolutely.
This guy passes a bad check. They get him to come in to pay, for the bad check. And the cop is like waiting there while the transaction happens. This guy pulls out his fake badge and shows it to a cop and starts spinning these bullshit tales. And the cop is just like, what is happening?
What the hell's going on?
and through the course of everything, we find out this guy carrying just like an 80-year-old guy, big guy, with a walker, saying he goes to Paraguay to figure out coups, in the company.
Yeah.
Carrying a gun, carrying a fake badge, which they send a picture of the badge to federal people. And what do they say that badge is? Badge is fake as fuck.
That is fake as fuck. It's not even good.
This guy basically gets dragged to jail, possibly for 5 to 10 years.
Sure. Yeah, great. He's done.
He did this to himself.
Well, yeah. Well, but he was an authority. You don't think bad things are going to happen to you when you're an authority, Dan.
But he's not. He's an authority in his own brain. Therefore, Tom going and being stupid enough to watch the video, I believe it. Tom's an idiot. Tom
is an idiot. You're absolutely right. But my thing is, why is this even in the movie? Because then he disappears. He's done. He watches it, and she's like, she doesn't even seem to realize he's watched it. It doesn't feel like she makes that connection. And then I don't think we see him ever again.
No. Does she immediately say, we got to save Tom? Where's my trophies? I'll burn my trophies and put on a mask.
I'll finally burn my trophies for Tom. I love Tom. Nope.
Hallie tries to contact Alley Cat. Alley Cat's out the door, and then she hears
her account has been discontinued or something. What?
And then she hears the voice of Katie. Help me! I'm in the forest. Help me! Come to the forest.
Now, does she say I'm in the forest, Dan?
No, she just
no. She says help me, whatever. But the voice. So whoever did the audio mixing on this missed the class where you do directional audio, because this audio is clearly in her head. It's like echoey and it's centered, right? Why would she then go outside? The audio, the voice is coming from inside your room. It's not outside your room. It's plain as day coming from inside your room. She would never go outside, and then it doesn't sound like she's in the woods.
No.
So I don't understand why she keeps walking. This girl is crazy.
Now, are you saying that you're going to do like a fan cut of this movie where you edit the audio properly?
Listen, someone needs to, because this scene doesn't make any sense. If it sounded like she was coming from outside far away in the woods, I would buy it. It does not.
Okay, so she goes into the forest, help me. Slender Man is there, he attacks, and she wakes up.
Yeah.
Then
does she never go outside then, Dan?
Who knows? She goes into the bathroom.
Was that in her mind?
She goes in the bathroom, and she starts having a tree baby.
Yeah.
She screams and she wakes up again.
Now, was being pregnant her fear because one of her fellow students was pregnant?
Good one, Tony. Good catch.
But they don't tell me that.
No.
This is me making a logical leap here to try to make sense of a scene in the movie.
You mean to tie to something that happened 45 minutes earlier and
something
has never been referenced again?
Yeah.
No. Nope.
I love it.
Tom is ghosting her. Oh, wait, no. Okay. Lizzie's having a
Okay,
bad dream.
wait.
Lizzie's freaking out, having a bad dream. They take Lizzie to the hospital.
Hold on, we missed my favorite line when she's having a bad dream. Lizzie,
Yeah,
the parents are in there trying to wake her up, essentially,
yeah.
and the mom is yelling at the dad, and the dad is yelling back, "I'm doing the best I can." And I just thought that was like the most real part of this whole movie. Is instead of fully caring about the daughter, they're at each other because neither of them can figure out. I thought it was a nice moment, and it was underplayed and oddly the only real thing in this whole movie.
Well, we're about to have one of the worst things in the movie, which is one of my favorite lines in the movie.
Oh, great.
They're in the hospital. Here comes the doctor. And this is what the doctor says. The blood tests are fine. No, the blood tests are negative.
Negative.
She's going to be fine. I'm like, that's one way to write that line. The blood tests are negative.
Yep.
The
So
test for what in her
what?
blood?
Right.
When you get
what are you testing for here?
When you go to Quest and they test your blood, it's 100 things.
Right. You get a whole document of what just happened, and then I'm supposed to read that, which I do not, by the way.
Yeah. She'll be fine. But actually, she wasn't.
There's nothing wrong.
She wasn't fine. I mean, so crazy. And then Hallie starts walking around the thing because Tom is ghosting her, and everyone in the hospital staring at her. There's crazy people with hair in bathtubs. There's a weird family. There's a tall doctor coming down the thing, and she's like, "Is that Slenderman? Is it Slenderman?" Nope, it's just a tall doctor.
Nope, just a 7'3" doctor. Yeah, like you see. Now, Dan, have you ever been to a hospital? What kind of lights are in a hospital?
Too many times have I been to hospitals.
Oh, okay. That's
the hallways of hospitals very well lit. You can go in the rooms.
Super well lit.
Rooms can be very dark.
Sure, but she's in the hallway right now, Dan, and she can't see a tall man walking 6 feet in front of her. That's not how a hallway is lit in a hospital.
She's in Slenderman's zone. She's not in reality.
Is she? Is she in her mind?
What do you mean? Do you think they have an old-timey bathtub and hair on the ground? Yeah, I think so.
I don't know anymore, Dan.
She walks in, Lizzie is dead, and then she has a bunch of other visions of trees and stuff. And then,
it's super weird.
Then do we do another Lizzie? And Lizzie had... Oh, no, he had no face. Later, he had no face.
Well, so Lizzie grabs her arm or something at this point, and that's when it like snaps out of it or whatever. Okay. And then Lizzie wakes up and starts screaming, "He had no face. He had no face."
So she goes home and looks at Lizzie's videos. He has all the same videos that the first girl that disappeared had. And then it's turned
real quick, Dan.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Real quick. Let's just talk about the search engine that they're using in this video to find all of these videos. And when she pulls up the missing persons, when she searches for missing persons, these are not real web pages. This doesn't even look like a web page. Yeah, like it's 2019, people. Like we know we're using Google for this sort of thing. Just make it look, or even Bling. I'll buy it. I'll buy that they use Bling. But something. This is not, you're just making like a shitty web page that is just a random assortment of pictures. It's terrible. These people all need to be fired, Dan.
So she finds this one video, and it's Ren taking Lizzie out into the forest to look for Slender Man or do something.
We don't know yet, but we find out that she's offering her to Slender Man.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, they don't say it explicitly, but I believe so, because later Ren is like they're having like a scream match, and she's like, "What we offered wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. He wants us." So I think she's trading Lizzie for Katie. No, are those the right names?
Katie's the first girl we lost.
Katie or Chloe, then I don't know. Either one. Take your pick.
Why is anyone videotaping this?
I have no idea. Seems like a weird choice.
And I was like, okay, if we finally have a conflict. The conflict is Ren is the bad person. Somehow we're going to figure out that Ren is somehow the bad person through all this.
Like the person, yeah, she summoned him and is doing all these things, but not really.
We go to, Hallie goes to Ren's house. The windows are open, and they're in her room, is her Slender Man obsession room. There is Slender Man everywhere, and I'm like,
Yeah.
so was Ren into Slender Man before any of
The
this
whole
started?
time, I don't know.
You know what? What's that great movie, The Babysitter?
Yeah.
Right? It's a whole plan, right? And you slowly learn that everything's been a setup, right?
Because she's done this a bunch of times in her life.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that'd be a fun twist.
this is,
it's not.
You should have started this movie and said, Ren is obsessed with Slender Man.
Yeah.
She wants to make Slender Man her boyfriend or something, and she's willing to sacrifice all of her friends to do it. There's a movie.
100%.
There's a movie. Write that movie.
Oh, okay.
There it is. Tony, Tony, get on.
I'll do it, Dan. But I'm going to create a concrete set of rules for Slender Man, and then people are going to get mad at me for doing that.
We find out that Alley Cat she got Slender Man, and there's Ren. What is Ren? What's Ren about to do?
I don't know. What's she doing?
Kill herself out her own window.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Well, so from the research I did, one of the only ways to get away from Slender Man is to kill yourself. Now, I would like to point out that that's not getting away from him on any level.
Yes, it is. If he's going to take you to Slender Man Land, I would rather be dead than in Slender Man Land.
Are you sure? Because earlier you were fine with Katie deciding she wanted to go to Slender Man Land.
Well, Katie's life is pretty terrible.
Okay, so you're saying because your life is so good that you'd rather be dead than go to Slender Man because you don't want to downgrade.
There's levels, right?
You're doing too good.
See, there's my life.
Okay, yeah.
There's death. Then there's Slender Man's life, Slender Man Land. Then there's Katie's life.
And there's Katie's life.
Way down here at the bottom.
Poor Katie, just tough go of it, really.
Katie's life's down here. Hell, one step above Katie's
look
life.
At that.
That's how bad Katie's life is. Pretty bad.
All right, so she was aiming high with Slender Man Land, really, in that graph that we just saw.
She's gonna do something with her life.
Ren's shoot for the stars.
Gonna jump. She's like Ren is like right here, but she waits till she jumps. Then she sort of grabs her arm.
There's physics wise, there's no way that what just happened would work.
Yeah, you would just grab her body, pull her in.
Right, and pull her in. Yeah.
And then she says, "That's my sister." And then Ren is like, "She came to me."
Yeah. Okay.
So I guess she came to her, and so then Ren thought it was a good idea to just give Lizzie to get back Katie or herself. Who knows?
I don't know. That was all conjecture on my part, really.
Slender he shows up. He starts doing static. Hallie closes the door at the bottom of the stairs. The effective. I'm going to close the door, and that's going to keep out the virus.
That should work. What?
I don't think that's how viruses work.
No,
he
sure isn't.
Turns into fog. Then he turns into a tree and grabs Ren out of the window, and that's literally the last time we see Ren.
Oh yeah, so she must be gone. She's dead.
She's gone. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great. I didn't even think about that.
You don't think about that. That is there's
nope.
It's very anticlimactic that your second lead is grabbed out a window and never heard from or never thought about again.
Yeah. Nobody cares.
In the forest, she finds the gates. She hears the bells. There's Slender Man. He takes her. He chases her. He turns into a giant spider. She falls down. Then
doesn't she say "take me" to him?
She does say "take me." Yeah, I don't know what that means.
And then she runs away.
Yeah,
which is a confusing order of action for me. She's like, "Take me," and then he starts to, and she's like, "Never mind, I'm scared."
Maybe she should have done "take on me." Take on me. And that's how she could have escaped. Right? She could have banged on the sides of the television.
Would have been great.
She falls down. Then the evil tree that's always sort of been around is behind her. It grabs her and it sucks her in, and she becomes a tree.
Now, is that what happened to the other people, you think? I don't know.
That's the end of the movie. She gets eaten by a tree.
Well, not quite the end of the movie.
Oh.
There's a great nutshelling at the end on voiceover. You don't remember? I have absolutely no idea. Just gobbledygook, really.
I wrote this down. The more fear, the more we're drawn in, the more stories, his word. I don't know if that was what they said.
So the final line of the movie is, it's all spreading his word, you know?
It's the final words are not, you know.
I swear to God, Dan, watch it again. The final word is, comma, you know? Question mark. Credits. What the hell kind of a last line is that?
You know, if you'd have told me AI wrote this movie, I'd have been like, I believe you.
In 2019, I believe it, because right now, in 2025, AI would blow the water out of this movie. It wouldn't even be close. Is he Jesus? It's all spreading his word? What does that mean?
He's the Dark Jesus.
The Dark Jesus. That's actually a fun nickname.
Yeah, so this movie was just terrible.
Absolute trash. It's poppycock. Thanks for picking that, Dan.
You're welcome. That's a good one. Tony, what are you into this week?
Well, it's almost basketball season. In fact, by the time this comes out, I think we'll be in the first week of basketball. I'm pretty sure. But I've been watching the Netflix docuseries Starting Five.
What's that?
It's by the same people that I think it's by the same people that did like quarterback and wide receiver this year. So it follows 5 NBA stars throughout last season, basically. And Anthony Edwards from the Timberwolves is one of them. Whoop, whoop. Shout out to Ant. So I've just been watching that, getting jazzed for the season.
Oh, look at Tony all jazzed up. I've been listening to a podcast called The Legend of Sword Quest.
It sounds nerdy. What's it about?
It is about an Atari series of games.
Oh.
The Sword Quest series, which started with like Earthworld, I think is the first one.
Okay.
And then, so they're going to put out these 4 games, and you could win like a $25,000 prize. And so each one was a puzzle. Yeah, well, this is in the past. And so it sort of follows through and explains how the contest went, and they track down some of the winners, and it's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting.
So people really did win. It wasn't like a gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But they never got to the 3rd game, and then Atari went out of business, and so they never knew what happened to the prizes, and people trying to sell supposed bootlegs of the game, and it's this does suffer from podcastitis, which is they take a long time to say things. They have weird things where people dramatize happenings.
Like recreations?
They're just like, because they of the, I will defeat you, person who is this. And you're like,
sure.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, you don't need any of that. Just give me the info.
The acting is so bad.
Well, that's because they don't hire people like us, Dan.
I should hire professional actors like me.
Like me?
Yeah, right. So, Sword Quest, pretty good. Legend of Sword Quest.
I'll check that out.
Yeah.
I love podcasts.
So, Tony, we have one more week of Halloween.
Give or take.
The ultimate Halloween episode. What are we doing for the ultimate Halloween episode?
I had a hard time deciding. I'm not going to lie to you.
Okay.
But it came down to a couple movies that came out this year, because I feel like we should end on a 2024 note.
Absolutely.
The one that I've decided.
What is the one?
Is going to be the John Cho classic, Afraid, spelled with AI in the title. Have you heard of this?
I have not heard of this movie.
They move into a house that's run by artificial intelligence, and surprise, surprise, things go wrong.
Oh, there's been a few of these houses run. I feel like I've watched part of one of them.
I think you're right.
Or maybe a whole one. This one I don't think I've watched.
Well, it's got John Cho in it, so I'm going to love it either way. So I'm excited to see it.
He was on a TV show? Is that who he was?
I mean, he's been in lots of stuff. I think his biggest coming out party was Harold and Kumar, which started with American Pie, and then Harold and Kumar because he was one of the drunk party guys in American Pie, if anybody remembers that. And then they did Harold and Kumar. And then he kind of blew up, but he was also, I mean, he was in the Star Trek reboots.
Oh, he was Sulu. Okay, yeah, I know who he is.
Yeah, he's great. I love him.
Okay, well, let's watch him be in a terrible movie. And I can talk about how terrible he is.
And it's PG-13, which is always a warning sign for me on horror films.
So a lot of nudity?
Maybe just a little, huh?
A lot of male frontal nudity?
Yeah.
So we'll be back with Afraid next week, and like and subscribe and leave a comment. Those are all things you can do to support the show and support Tony and I in our old age, or my old age, and in Tony's soon to be out of work.
I'm older than you are physically.
That is true.
You know what I
mean? Yeah. So we'll be back then and talking about Afraid.
Goodbye, everybody.
Hey, watch it!